I thought it was so loud before, and then now I get in this and I'm like, golly, dude. I mean, it's so much louder.
Hey, what's up everybody? EXO coming at you with another full-length car audio project. Today we got our buddy Wesley in his snazzy looking Toyota Camry, and he really wants some of that deep sounding bass in his car. You know, those extra low notes. So let's have some fun while we design, build, and install a nice ported box using simple tools and affordable wood that smells real good.
Yeah, this is some nice wood, man. I like the smell of it. That's the main reason why I got it, because it smells great.
And it's a lot nicer to work with than MDF. Whew. That stuff has its own set of problems, but you've probably heard countless people say, MDF is the only wood you should ever use. So what side are you on? Is fiberboard, of all things, really the holy grail of speakers and subs? And there's his subwoofer. That's the big boy DC level 6, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, you got the carbon option? Look at the cap. Oh, I would love this on my subs. I think I'm gonna have to be calling PSI. I got a nice spot for it over here next to my OG XXX 15 and our good old Rockville Destroyer. Oh God, eat your heart out. So we'll definitely need to clear up some space back here. Let's yank out this little yin-long bank. With everything taken out, you can see there's not a ton of room to work with in this trunk. The opening behind the seats is definitely going to put a limit on how big we can build the box. No big deal though. We'll just measure the width from the top right before it curves back down to the floor. That way we can keep the whole dimension nice and straight while still being maxed out on our height dimension. So let's get busy crunching some numbers and design a new sub box. And to keep things super easy for all you guys, we are gonna use this free car audio app from my buddy Thomas over at Explicit Audio. Now, compared to the other programs out there, it's actually pretty damn accurate, even though you can't enter in the specs of your woofer. But if you're new to this hobby and you just kind of want to get a general feel for the box, this is a great way to get a ballpark idea of it. But before you just go copying me, there's an important warning you should know about. Given the unknown nature of this project, essentially building out an entire trunk, I always shoot for maximum dimensions, not always following specs. For me personally, it's 1,000 times easier to fine-tune things later on by making them smaller if they need it, not so much the other way around. Once it's built, it's built. There's no making it bigger. That's why we'll design this box slightly oversized at first while still being tunable, even if we had to take out an entire cubic foot later on. And even then, it would only raise the tuning by like 4 or 5 frequencies. Definitely manageable and a safe option for a semi-permanent setup like this. So with that in mind, let's get this show on the road and open up the ultimate car audio app. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in there, but we're just focusing on box calculator. Go ahead and click slot port, and we've already done all of the measurements in the trunk. That's kind of what we did at the beginning, the intro of this video. So box width, we have a decent 28 inches to work with, and our height, we're actually squeezing a little more than we should by doing some trimming on both sides, so we can actually fit 16.5. Believe me, it's pretty amazing that we fit that in there. And because of the dip for the spare tire, we can fit 33 inches front to back. That's pretty freaking big for this little trunk. And a number of extra baffles. We're gonna do a total of 4 baffles, so that means 3 extra. So let's add 3 there. And the displacements. The sub is listed on the DC Audio website for 0.22 cubic feet. That's how much space that the motor and basket takes up. 0.22. And then box bracing, we're using dowels, 2-inch dowels. I'm not gonna go through all the steps of calculating volume for a cylinder, but long story short, we have 0.749, even into the thousandths place there, of displacement. We're using all easy to access wood from Home Depot, Lowe's. I always call it Home Depot, I can't help it. It's 3/4 inch wood, 0.75 inch wood. And the port width, we ended up probably squeezing as much as we could, literally as much as we could without taking too much volume up on the other side. So we were able to squeeze out 4.6 inches of width for our port, and the whole height dimension, which is like 15.125, but just for the sake of this video, 15 0.1. And for the length, because it takes up damn near 2 cubic feet inside the box, it's 42 inches long as we could make it while still being a decent tuning for his musical taste. So common walls. A common wall is just any surface that shares the boundaries of your box, like the top, the bottom, or the side. So if your port has a part of the top or the bottom or the side in it, that means you have common walls. In this case, the bottom of our box is actually the bottom of our port, the top of our box is actually the top of our port, and etc. for the side. So we have 3 common walls. If it was 0 common walls, then we would have to worry about all the thickness of the wood taking up volume inside the box. That'd be a pain in the butt, and it would be way bigger externally. So 3 common walls, and port thickness is again 0.75. We're using all the same wood here. External port length, 0. That would be really an arrow port type of thing, have a nice little Mario pipe sticking out of your box. We're not doing that right now. We're gonna click in 0, and we're doing sub front, port to the front, but it doesn't give you that option, so just click sub back, port back. All right, here we go. Ready? Moment of truth. Ready to calculate the numbers. 3, 2, 1, shapasha! Oh, whoa, 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 3.83. Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. What the hell, but our gross is perfect. We messed up somewhere. Let's scroll up a little bit. Look at the displacements, all right? Oh crap, I see it, guys. I made a mistake. It's not nearly that much displacement for those little tiny dowels. It's 0.074. Let's calculate that. Oh my goodness. 4.5, and there we go. A beautiful musical tuning at 28 hertz. This guy really likes low and slowed music. He listens to DJs, read bass. Looks like we have a cut sheet down here, but we're not gonna utilize this cut sheet. We're gonna make basically transpositions of this whole design on Bassbox Pro so we can have the big screen TV out in the garage. But for a free program, it's not so bad, so I do recommend it if you kind of want to just dip your feet in the water and see what boxes are all about and see how the behavior changes when you make them smaller, bigger, ports, longer, shorter. It's pretty cool to see how everything, works. So there we go, guys. Let's go ahead and transpose all of this data onto our computer in Bassbox Pro, and we're gonna be getting the garage nice and dirty. All right, we've got our cut list displayed on our nice little television screen up here, and the first cut on the list is top and bottom at 33 inches by 28 inches. Here you go, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Draw a nice little line across her, just because my saw's not the best on the planet, so to have a nice little guide is good. All right, on to the next cut, which is the front and the back. Now, obviously, it divides it into 2 sections because it thinks the front is its own separate piece of wood that's 3 inches thick. But we're just gonna be layering a bunch of 3/4 inch wood. So with the pieces that are gonna be our baffle, we're just gonna layer them up right now and put some screws into them so that the cut will be exact. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of using my body weight and going back and forth, and I can feel this liquid feeling underneath me. So I'm getting both layers kind of saturated in it, almost like I applied it on both sides. Try not to waste that many screws. I'm just using them as clamps. I'm kind of going into the cut because I don't want to have it interfere with my other screws that we're going to use to assemble the box. That would be a pain in the butt. There we go. Now it's a nice wood glue sandwich of some really nice wood, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ply from Lowe's. I don't know what they're doing in your neck of the woods, but we don't have that here. You're lucky. And now we can take that piece, cut it, it'll be a nice piece for our baffle. Now speaking of the baffle, we don't want to confuse anybody, so if you're wondering why it's not cut exactly to size yet, we're just letting the screws and the glue finish doing their job, and after it dries, we'll worry about trimming it to size and laying the sub out. But for right now, we can just cruise through cut by cut. Moving on to the next cut, we are about to start the 2 side pieces. Now, these also need to be a little bit modified because we ended up making the back double layered and placed it on the outside. So instead of 33, we did a 31.5, and luckily, looks like the people cutting the wood over in the store knew exactly what we wanted today because it is damn near perfect. Look at this. We only got to trim off a little bit, and this was a spare piece. Money in the wallet right there. Woo! Cruising right along here with our cuts. I'm not really filming too much of that because you guys know what a piece of wood getting cut looks like. We're at a point where we're actually gonna have to back off one of our screws because when we double layered this piece, you can tell that line is gonna go right into that metal screw. And this is actually gonna be the back piece, and it looks like a perfect fit, buddy. Nice. Now the side pieces will make her come together even more, and then that will be a common wall of the port. In other words, the side of the box is going to be a part of the port. And to get an even better idea, we did some tracing with pretty much the port outline. This will give us a good idea of where everything's going to be laid out. Slap in this spare piece, which is the same dimension as our sidewall. And as you can see, it is becoming our port wall. Now let's give it a 4.5 inches to be consistent with the rest of the dimensions for our port. Let's go ahead and make that about, yeah, stop it right there. Now, as you can see, the distance between there and here diagonally is a little bit out of whack, but if we take a piece of wood and basically imagine that the tape measure is a thickness of a new piece of wood, we can actually make the port width another 4.5 inches flush with this little elbow in the port, and then it will transition into the next little section to get the desired tuning. We just did all the math and we're at 4.5 cubes, still tuned at 28 hertz, guys. It is looking good. Alright guys, here we are the next morning. We've done a couple more extra things with the box, disassembled her, labeled everything because we have reached the next spot, which is a turning point for us. Look what we have realized. We're gonna be able to fit this big box into the trunk pre-built. Originally, we thought we're gonna have to, piece everything together and slowly build it inside the trunk. Change of plans. Everything is big enough, well, I should say small enough, to be assembled right here, right now. But we're about to make the circles for our subwoofer cutout. We measured the center point of this piece of wood down here, which is the baffle, obviously, and it ended up being that bad boy right there. We marked it with a pencil. Now, I'm gonna use this screw as kind of an anchor point for the center mark, and that is gonna become the center of our circle, and then this screw is the perimeter. And when you do a rotation, you get a nice guide, and the circle that you end up making actually ends up helping you along while you try to cut out the hole with your jigsaw. There we go, perfect circle. And I'll just emphasize this screw a few more times. That way the blade will just be like, burr, burr, burr. You can totally see what we're talking about here. Here's the beauty piece. Even though these are two different pieces, we gotta be aware of one very important thing, because once this circle comes above the top, we're off of this piece and onto the next piece, which is actually our top. So we'll notch that out eventually. Can't go wrong with that, right? A little bit of sanding, she'll be right as rain. The double layer baffle, we used a longer blade so we could get through that, and it was nice clean cuts there. You can see there's no burns, it was going through like butter actually. Take some of this glue here and make this the final product, which is going to be 4 layers thick at the end. Lots of strength there. I think that should do it. Yeah, once we start spreading it out. We're going to go ahead and just paddle this all around here. Alright, we just grabbed the sub and we got her on the floor here. We just finished cutting out the sub cutout. Now we did a test fit of it. And guys, I'm feeling good. It's so tight that it's actually hovering right now. Press fit around the edges. Now for the moment of truth, check this out, guys. Look at these little beauty panels coming together. It lined up perfectly. And there's what it's gonna look like. The top of the box is gonna have a tiny little notch out. It'll end up looking like it was meant to freaking be. We already screwed these holes in. See how it just kind of just like scooted itself back into where it's supposed to be? That's why we did the gluing after we did the screwing, and then we can add the rest of our screws after these act as a little clamp in the meantime. and that means that the piece goes right where we wanted it to from the start. Everything's looking good, guys. We've got some screws laced into the top, and this is also gonna be filled with some wood filler or whatever we got on hand. Next step is assembly. Now, what are we gonna do first to tackle this? We're gonna clear out all the sides, the port, the baffle, and we're gonna start by mounting the rear. I'm gonna do like we did before and add some screws and then add the glue. So when we glue it, the screw acts as a guide as our clamp. Oh. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here. We got a nice layer of glue down, and the screws are just acting as little position points, just barely sticking out, and it fits into the hole just like that. And because this piece is 2 layers thick, I'm gonna just stagger each screw to kind of alternate between each piece of wood and what's, you know, giving the nice bite. Look at this seam without even sanding yet. This is a pretty beautiful seam. I gotta say, our cuts were not so bad for doing a Ryobi table saw. That goes on the inside right there. Imagine if this baffle was mounted in front of this. This 3/4 inch piece of wood would be the only surface that the screws would be screwing into, and that would promote splitting and not as much strength. So having 4 layers stacked, we can actually just alternate pieces and get a much better bond. Pour out some nice glue here, and I always like to try to bring the pieces faced up as much as possible. That way I can lay the glue out like that. Trying to lay glue down when it's a vertical surface is kind of a pain in the butt, so right now we can join both of these with a flat glue job. Moving right on to the next piece, which is gonna be the first part of the port, the inner portion. Try to do a nice thin layer of glue down there. That should do it. And then we'll also apply the glue onto this strip right here, which is the 4 layers right there. That way both surfaces are nice and covered. Yeah, take a look, guys. We got the baffle all screwed in. Got the alternating screws holding her in stronger than ever. And now the next part of the port is the next part of the process. So the reason why we saved that for this side is because with the other side of the box in here, it would actually block us from even being able to screw it in. So if we put this in here like that, we have a perfect way of accessing all the screws. So here's what that piece is looking like right now. Get the better idea of what we're working with, and then we'll plop that down right here. I bet people watching this are like, what the hell is going on over there? They're just dumping it like a freaking gallon of milk everywhere. But hey, look at what we've accomplished so far, and this is the exact method that we've used the entire time. It actually looks pretty damn good, dude. Good job. That's alright, that happens sometimes, but what we're gonna do is put some glue in there and take some sawdust and just fill it in. First we'll take a lot of glue and just splooge it in, and then take some sawdust and then coat it and then press it very hard into this crevice. And the glue's slowly disappearing because it's absorbing into not only that hole, but the pores around it. And check it out, it already looks like we filled up that whole gap, and when it dries, we'll just sand it real good, and it should be like it never even happened. And just like that, guys, we've got that piece in, and we're moving on to this side piece. This is the second to last piece. Oh, no, I shouldn't say that, because we still have some dowels to worry about, and some of those little elbows, but overall, I'd say that we're doing a good job here, guys. It's looking great. Alright, fast forward just a little bit, guys. We got kind of in the groove of things, started sanding, and things got crazy. We added the first elbow and a little tiny wedge, and you can see that I'm just giving it a little bit of a clampage down the side. We've got 6 screws holding in this side. It kind of looks like we used the Craig jig, but we actually just used it by hand. And next up on the menu is probably going to tackle these little dowels right here for the bracing. We're doing one top to bottom and one side to side in this cube. I think we'll also add a dowel right in between those 2 surfaces. Alright, we just cut the dowel to size at right around 21 inches. And if we'll pop it in there, it's a really tight fit. You'll actually kind of have to push that piece of wood over a little bit. Just like that, wedge it in real good. That is nice and strong. Now our subwoofer is actually going to have a mounting depth that's pretty close to this dowel, but as long as we don't get it directly in back of it, we just don't want to cover up that pole vent, and since this is nice and curved on the backside, we'll be just fine. And here's the other piece that we cut to the top and bottom dimension. And I really want it to sit either in front or in back of this, but in order to do so, we kind of want to make the profile a little bit smaller. And you can kind of see it's almost begging for you to take a pencil already and kind of just trace around it right here. I think it will be a nice closer fit. Alright, so I just took the jigsaw and I cut it down. You can kind of see it wasn't perfect, but I think it's going to be just enough to, look at that. If I just continue on the cut a little bit further, we'll be able to get this a little tiny bit closer. Alright guys, coming in the next morning. Look what we've done now. Just a little bit of silicone around the edges, and we really didn't even need it because the cuts were so accurate. But I used my nice little squeegee from Amazon, and look at that little silicone bead. Pretty much matches the rest of it. Pretty consistent job. I did some filling in here because it was not like a perfect notch out, but it matches up pretty damn well. So with a screw in the back going toward the back, I think that'll hold it in pretty much as good as it needs to be. And there she is, nice and snug in there, wood glued on both sides. And when we went on the other side and started doing our screwing, you can see that it really did some tensioning down there, and it gave it pretty much all the strength that it's gonna need with it when it sandwiches along with the top. So looking over here, you're probably like, what the hell is that thing? That big freaking tumor hanging off your box? Well, I just wanted to fill this cavity, and it's been long enough that I can kind of just trim it down, and hopefully there's not too many wet spots in there. There you can see it's nice and flush now. We'll sand her down nice. Even though this cavity is pretty much irrelevant, you can tell that the very core is not quite cured up. So once we, take care of the rest of things, it'll get exposed to the air plenty more. Moving right along to the top piece, we've done some quick marking out of where this piece is, where that piece is, and where this goes down, because we'll be able to see this piece and we can just draw a straight line down from the front. But the pieces that we can't see once the top goes on, we just pre-marked them, so now when Wesley puts that piece right on top, we'll just show you real quick. Here's where that elbow is, here's where the support brace is in the center, and then we marked out right here for the different parts of the wood that's going down that way. Alright, moving right along, guys. Now, you probably noticed this the whole time. The top and bottom piece needs definitely a big trimming. This gasket will kind of tell us where that needs to be, so we'll take our marker and kind of just follow this ridge just to give us an idea of where we're going to take our router and make it perfectly flush. I'm gonna change the depth of my blade. See how I'm just barely grazing it? I'm gonna change that a little bit, just so we're better safe than sorry. And there we go, not too bad if I do say so myself. It almost looks like this right here, which is a mid-cut, is its own little piece of wood. Take a look at that, guys. The bracing, the ports, everything is complete, except for, you know, making it look good and getting it installed. But for the most part, you guys know what's next. There's the DC audio level 6 that Wesley got. Let's just try to test fit this 100-pound thing. I'll let you do all the heavy lifting. We got the big guy with us. Still enough of a job for him, I'll tell you that. Let's plop her in. See how she goes. Oh God, watch your fingers, man.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
it'll get down in there.
Here, let's try to redo this. All right, we just had to pull it out a little bit, but it definitely will fit. It's just that we had this thing accidentally slip off. We're gonna install the sub first and then pretty much mount everything afterwards. And we're gonna go through the port for now because Wesley's gonna have to come back and we'll finish the job with the rest of the foam. We're gonna be sealing this off from the trunk, so stay tuned for that. Today, we're just gonna stick with the box and get him on his merry way. We don't wanna send him 2.5 hours without some jams, you know what I'm saying? Oh boy, guys, check it out. We've got the sub installed. We've got the wires coming through the port. Pretty much everything is in a temporary spot, but look, Wesley's gonna be bumping up bass all the way up the highway. He came, we saw, we conquered. Be aware of this hinge, the door hinge. The door latch is gonna scratch.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So we have to jump it up.
I got you. All right, we're over the lip though. Let me go back here and I'll pull it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Man, she's a tight fit.
Yeah. All right, hold on. That's my. All right.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. She's in. Now, granted, this is just for temporary fitment. It's supposed to be facing the other way, but until we can seal it off, this is what you're gonna be having.
That is perfect.
Let's push it in more. That's perfect, man. This is just for fun, so you can get home. Once you seal up that huge cavity, it'll sound better if faced the other way. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Everything's wired up. Well, temporarily until we can get back, but I feel good about what we've done. It stinks though, because I wish I could give you guys the whole project in one video. We'll go for a quick couple-minute drive, listen to it, but I'm feeling good, man. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's a night and day difference.
I agree.
That's enough for me right now.
Yeah, dude,
you know
I'm feeling great.
I've never felt that. You know, I've never been in anything louder than what I have.
You want to change, right?
Tickling my face. Oh my God.
Yeah, we've got, and feel how much air.
So much.
Feel how much air is being pumped out of that thing. Holy, you're gonna be one happy camper.
I'm already happy.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah, man.
God damn it, I thought it was so loud before, and then now I get in this and I'm like, golly, dude. I mean, it's so much louder.
Dude, that's 26 hertz right there.
Oh my God.
What
I've never heard that.
I know you came here because you wanted some lows.
That's right.
And we opened her up, dude. I will say though, because of the difference in frequency right now, you're experiencing some new type of flex. So I would go ahead and maybe the next time we come down here, we could fix that together.
Okay.
We'll do a quick little frequency test here.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go from like 20, let's just go from 20 to 60.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, real slowly and just see how she sounds in the car. Here, oh wow, that's making pressure. That's 20 hertz, dude.
Oh my God.
Holy shit. That's not bad for us. That's actually not that bad. So let's go up.
Yeah, I'm flexing.
Yeah, you got some serious flex.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm feeling it.
I'm definitely feeling it.
I'm definitely feeling it.
God damn, dude. What a difference. Like, I'm not used to that. Even with the two Wolfram, the AE Wolframs, it was nowhere near what this is.
So this is louder than your 215?
This is loudest. Oh yeah, this is the loudest I've ever heard, period.
Dude,
you know, I mean, I've never had a demo or anything, so
wow.
This is as loud as I've had.
And wait until we finish it. Some people call it a trunk wall setup, so it's like your own little...
Nah.
No, he's like, no, I don't call it that. And there we have it, a nice solid sounding box build right here on the EXO channels. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it because holy crap, I put in a lot of extra effort to make it nice and fun to watch. 130 hours of editing into what you just saw. So whew, definitely not the most fun sitting in this chair, but I had so much fun having Wesley come over here, working out in the garage, basically acting like we're best friends. We only had a day and a half to finish this whole thing. So with filming and building combined, it was definitely a tall order, but I had a great time. I'm glad we were able to at least film and piece together what we did in this video, and he's gonna come back a second time. We had to send him home with the box faced the other way. We'll have him come back around, seal up the edges with expanding foam, and make it a real nice sounding box without any of the flex from the trunk. That's what's so kind of annoying when you have your box firing toward the trunk. The whole thing just goes absolutely nuts and it takes away from some of the sound quality. This project was purely for fun and very spontaneous. One day we just came up with the idea, he came over and we basically just whipped it up. I know there's people out there that build extravagant boxes with curves and this and make it look blah, blah, blah. But this was just a nice simple project that anybody could do. We didn't really want to go extravagant with it. Show you that you can use easy tools like jigsaws and free apps to make a box that sounds pretty damn good. And the first initial results, I was very happy and Wesley was blown away. I couldn't be any more thrilled with the results. And we are actually gonna be tailoring and dialing in the system even more down the road. Like how we mentioned in the beginning of this video, we oversize things so we can get that perfect sweet spot by taking away volume slowly. And I'd like to send a big thank you to the people who helped make these longer, more time-intensive projects possible, from our patron members at Sunset Dragon, UBM Bass, Wesley McLaughlin, thank you for coming over, man, and for being a part of the patron page, TJ Emery, the car audio guy, Mark Shepard and Trucker 9000, Dylan Flores, and Cody DeGoat. All of these people contribute to the channel each month to help offset the little trials and tribulations and ups and downs of YouTube policies, and allows me to put in 100 hours into a video like this instead of having it be 4.5 hours long. This is how much the video was when I filmed it, and this is how much it was after we edited it down into something more cohesive. So if you did enjoy watching, be sure to engage with the video because we're giving away a free 15-inch subwoofer, a mystery 15-inch sub. That's right, nobody knows what it's gonna be. Just a random subwoofer is gonna show up at your door one day and you'll be like, hey, look, a random sub from EXO. Pretty cool. I'm very glad to be in a position to do this for you guys, so thanks for watching, subscribing. It really makes a big difference over here on the EXO channels. So, until the next video, guys, stay loud and stay proud. I'll see you on the rebound. Okay!